Have you ever felt utterly alone in a crowd and wondered if your dreams are nothing more than illusions? This might resonate with you, reminding you of times you've felt alone, adrift in your thoughts. When life becomes a whirlwind of chaos, solitude can be an unlikely partner. The stepping to self-discovery and dreams, it prompts introspection and carves the path to personal growth. Are these dreams mere illusions or our guiding light towards fulfillment? To answer these questions, let us delve into a story of triumph over loneliness and the realization of a dream. Picture a young man named John, who felt the crushing weight of loneliness. A boy, really, coming of age in a bustling city that couldn't care less about one more face in the crowd. He was just another individual trying to fit into the puzzle of life. But John was different. He was a dreamer, a thinker, a creator. He had a passion that set his soul on fire. Art. John's love for art began as a child. His fingers danced on the blank canvas, creating worlds that only he could envision. He dreamt of a day when the world would see his creations, appreciate them, and perhaps understand him a little better. But his journey wasn't an easy one. The road to his dream was paved with solitude, a constant companion he neither invited nor wanted. Loneliness, often misconstrued as a mere lack of company, is far more complex. It's a feeling of disconnect, of being out of sync with the world around you. And John, he knew this all too well. He felt isolated, misunderstood. He was a solitary figure in a sea of faces, his thoughts and ideas often drowned in the noise of the everyday. Yet there was a certain beauty in his solitude. It was in the silent hours of the night when the world was asleep that John found his true self. His loneliness became his muse, his quiet companion in the journey of self-discovery. His art became a reflection of his solitude, a testament to his unique perspective of the world. John's dream was more than just a desire for fame or recognition. It was a longing for connection, an attempt to bridge the gap between his inner world and the reality that surrounded him. He yearned to share his vision, his interpretation of life, his art, with the world. Despite the loneliness, John held on to his dream, using it as a beacon in his darkest times. His story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of adversity we can still dare to dream, and most importantly, dare to live those dreams. There came a point where John realized that his loneliness was not a prison, but a gateway. In the grand tapestry of life, each thread weaves its own narrative. For John, his thread was one of solitude, woven in hues of loneliness. But it was this very solitude that sparked the flame within him. It was at this juncture, this turning point, that he began to perceive his loneliness not as a barrier, but as a bridge towards his dreams. John was an artist, a creator who found solace in his own company. He began to channel his feelings, his emotions, his loneliness into his art. The quiet of his solitude became the symphony of his creativity. His loneliness, once a daunting shadow, turned into his loyal companion, his muse. He used his loneliness as fuel, as motivation. Each stroke of his brush, each line of his sketch, each shade of his palette was imbued with his solitude. His art began to reflect the depth of his emotions, the intensity of his loneliness. It was raw, it was real, it was relatable. It was his loneliness, his solitude, that gave his art a soul. Through his art, John began to communicate with the world. He shared his feelings, his thoughts, his loneliness with people. He was no longer alone. His art had made him a part of something larger, something universal. He had transformed his loneliness into a link, a connection with others. John realized that his loneliness was not a sign of being lost, but a beacon guiding him towards his dreams. It was not a hindrance but a catalyst. It was not a weakness, but a strength. It was not a curse, but a blessing. It was not a wall, but a window opening towards a world full of possibilities. John's loneliness was no longer a cage, it had become his canvas. His solitude was not a sentence but a source of inspiration. It was not a stumbling block but a stepping stone towards his dream. His loneliness was not a void but a vessel filled with potential, with purpose, with passion. John's loneliness was no longer a cage, it had become his canvas. As time passed, John's art began to resonate with people, and he found a sense of belonging. John's journey wasn't a journey of overnight success. The path was rough, filled with challenges, and at times it was an uphill battle, but he never gave up. His art, born out of solitude, began to make waves. It was a reflection of his soul, a mirror to his loneliness, and it spoke volumes to those who dared to listen. His art was unique, it was raw, it was real. It took the emotions we often hide, the feelings we push away, and brought them to the forefront. His art was not just a painting on a canvas, it was an experience, an encounter with the raw, unfiltered human spirit. It was the voice of his solitude, the melody of his loneliness, and it echoed in the hearts of those who saw it. As his art began to touch people's hearts, he started receiving recognition. People began to understand the depth of his work, the pain, the loneliness, and the beauty it portrayed. It was as if his art was a beacon, guiding those who felt lost in their solitude, showing them they were not alone. The more his art spread, the more people he reached, and the more he realized that his loneliness was not just his, but a universal human experience. John's art became a bridge, connecting him with people who shared his feelings of loneliness. He discovered a community, a tribe of people who understood him, who resonated with his work, who appreciated his art. His loneliness had led him to create, and his creation had led him to connect. His art was a testament to the fact that even in our loneliness, we are not alone. We all have our battles, our struggles. We all know what it's like to feel isolated, to feel misunderstood, but it is through our shared experiences, our shared emotions, that we find understanding, that we find connection. John was no longer alone, he had found his tribe. John's dream had become a reality, but it wasn't the end of his journey. It was in fact a new beginning, a fresh start. His dream, once a distant star in the night sky, was now a tangible entity. A product of countless hours spent in solitude, it had morphed from a mere thought into a tangible reality. John's dream was not born out of thin air. It was crafted meticulously, piece by piece, with each solitary moment contributing to its creation. The loneliness he once perceived as a crippling adversary had turned into his most potent ally. It was during these moments of profound solitude that John had the opportunity to delve deep into his thoughts, to explore the endless possibilities of his dreams. Achieving his dream was no easy feat. It required an immense amount of determination and resilience. There were times when the odds were stacked against him, when it seemed easier to abandon his dream rather than pursue it. But John persevered. He chose to face the challenges head-on, to keep moving forward even when the road seemed bleak. But the realization of his dream wasn't an endpoint, it was a stepping stone towards greater things. It was a testament to his perseverance, a tribute to his belief in the power of dreams. It was a symbol of how solitude can be a catalyst for change, a tool for personal growth. It was proof that dreams do come true, that with unwavering determination and a little bit of courage, one can conquer the world. John's journey didn't stop with the realization of his dream, he continued to dream, to aspire for more. He understood that dreams are not finite, they are ever-evolving, constantly pushing us to reach new heights, and so, he kept dreaming, kept striving, propelled by the power of his dreams and the strength of his spirit. John's dream had come true, but his journey continued, a testament to the power of dreams and the human spirit. His story is a reminder to all of us that dreams are achievable, that solitude can be a powerful ally, and that the journey towards realizing our dreams is just as important as the dream itself. So, what can we learn from John's journey? We've traveled with John through his story, witnessing his highs and lows, his struggles and successes. We've seen how he navigated the rough seas of loneliness and how, in the end, it became a powerful catalyst for personal growth. The transformative potential of loneliness is something we all can harness. It's not a condition to be feared, but a stage for self-reflection, self-discovery, and self-improvement. In the silence of solitude, we find the whispers of our deepest desires, and in doing so, we identify the dreams we truly want to chase. And once we've identified those dreams, we must remember to never relinquish them. Dreams are not just idle fantasies, but guiding stars that illuminate our path even in the darkest nights of loneliness. They are promises to ourselves that we ought to keep. Remember, even in your loneliest moments, your dreams are waiting for you to make them come true.